the official minimum wage, well, that implies that there's an official minimum wage over here, but over here there's an unofficial minimum wage, which we call the black market. Because every market has a legal market and an illegal market. What is the official minimum wage? Well, definition of the official minimum wage is it's $9 in California, and this has been issued by the state legislature. It's not a national wage, it's a state wage. And just for your information, certain states in California, mostly in Northern California, have decided in their infinite wisdom, did I say wisdom? Yes, in their infinite wisdom, that minimum wage should be $15 an hour. There's another county up north that's $12 an hour. And another one says the minimum wage is $15 an hour, but it's going to stay there until the California minimum wage catches up with it. Well, why do we have minimum wages? Well, we have minimum wage because people don't feel that the unofficial minimum wage over here is acceptable. Now, what is the unofficial minimum wage? Well, that's the wages that the coolies used to be paid to build railroads. It's now the price that the Chinese that are brought over the United States that work in sweatshops are paid. It's also the price that the Chinese are paid in China, because it's not official in the United States, it's somebody else's wage. So the unofficial minimum wage is what anybody wants to make it that an employee is willing to work for. Because if the employees won't work for the minimum wage, then nobody works at that wage. Now, in the old days, the official minimum wage was slavery, and it was $0. The master said, I'm not paying you anything, I'm giving you food and clothing, and you're going to work, and if you don't work, I'll shoot you. Now, with the sweatshops, the Americans say that they're not being paid a fair wage. And on the other hand, you've got the workers who say, it's not enough money, but I need the job, because if I don't have that job, I don't have any money and I can't eat because I can't find another job at a different wage. Question to ask yourself, is it better to work for less money than you want or not to work at all? In the United States, we have unemployment insurance. Unemployment insurance assures the unofficial minimum wage. Did you understand that? That unemployment insurance determines the unofficial minimum wage. Because I want to hire Matt. And I go, Matt, you don't have a job. I'll pay you $5 an hour. Matt says, well, that's below the minimum wage. And I said, but we're friends, and you need a job, and I can't afford to pay the minimum wage. He goes, well, I got a problem. I'm getting $10 an hour out of my unemployment. And if I go on welfare, I'm getting $15 an hour. So he's not going to work even for the official minimum wage because he's making more money by this escape hatch. The escape hatch being welfare and unemployment insurance, which automatically puts a floor to poverty in this country. So that is one, that gets you right to the subject. Why do we even need an official minimum wage when we have an unofficial minimum wage, which is the cost of collecting unemployment or collecting welfare, collecting subsidized housing, the cost of getting to and from work if you have a job. And if you can't make enough money to cover all these things we just mentioned, you sit home and twiddle your thumbs. we have a large percentage of the black population which learned in the 50s about the unofficial minimum wage. And if they couldn't get enough money, they never worked. And then they had more kids because the women got money for every kid they got. So the unofficial minimum wage went up because if they had 2 kids or 3 kids, now they had the problem of childcare. What I'm trying to tell you is, but I haven't said it yet, so I guess now's the time I'm going to say it, is that anytime anybody tries to mess with the free market system, it becomes gobbledygook. There are restaurants that will hire 12, 13-year-old kids, and they would hire them at $5, $6 an hour, and the kids are quite happy to work at $5, $6 an hour so they can have a summer job. But the law says they have to get minimum wage, and the employer says, I can't afford to pay them that much money compared to other people I can hire, so they don't hire the high school kids. And the high school kids want jobs, and they need jobs. They need to learn a work ethic, to go to work, to learn the skills, to learn what it's like. Why does the millennium generation not want to work? Because they didn't have to work when they were 10 and 11 and 12 and 13, 14, 15, 16, 18 years old. They didn't learn about working, and when they needed to start getting jobs, they go, what do I need a job for? I'll let my parents support me. 50% of the millennium generation is either unemployed or underemployed. And we wouldn't have this problem if when they were 16 years old, they had jobs working for whatever they were willing to work for and the employer was willing to pay. So the official minimum wage is $9 an hour, but it doesn't mean a thing because the unofficial wage is pay me what I want or I don't work. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you.